Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick 9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the demolishing of the famous homes at the Warner Brothers Ranch. I understand that this is hurtful to see all these homes destroyed, but if you disagree with what they're doing, please don't give this video a thumbs down. Give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying me covering this type of content. That's how it works. If you have displeasure for what they're doing, I totally get it. I am on board with that. Just let me know in the comments though. That has nothing to do. I have nothing to do with the destruction of these homes at Warner Brothers Ranch, so I want to make that absolutely clear. I'm currently running my 3rd annual Halloween special. If you like classic movies, classic TV shows, I'll put the link at the top in the description so you can watch all of my Halloween themes horror videos. I think you'll absolutely enjoy them. Classics going back to, the 30s, the Universal classics. I even covered Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Invisible Man Returns in this year's, and there's so much more coming, so make sure to check those out. But let's get right into it. I want to give a big thanks to this individual, Michael Charles Borquez. I hope I'm saying that correct. I'll leave his name here. All of these photos are his. They're his property, and I'm just using them because it's really hard to get access to where these homes are. Remember, they're being demolished. I talked about why in a previous video. Essentially, they're getting rid of these old homes. Remember, they're facades. They're not real homes. No one lives there. There's no even real plumbing or interiors to most of these. It's just essentially a cutout, right? Like a wooden cutout or a frame, and then made to look like a real home from the outside. The shows didn't actually really film on the inside. It's just a look for where these homes would be, this neighborhood look. They're tearing it down to make new studios and these warehouses, right, where they're going to be doing AI and things like that. So this one is called the Little Eggbert house. It's one of the oldest, from going back to the 1930s. I'll give you a little bit of history. It's on the very end of what is called Blondie Street, where all these homes are at, and it served as a British-themed Little Eggbert street set for a movie named A Feather in Her Hat, 1935, as well as, you may know, Pleasantville from 1999, and as well as from The X-Files, there's an episode called Arcadia. Now, this is an interesting one because I believe it's from Gremlins. Also, they mention Donna Reed, Dennis the Menace. Yes, some people say Dennis the Menace was at Universal. I believe that is true, but it's also this one. This one was used for Dennis the Menace, but it was changed. So they colored it different colors. It was blue. The bottom half that is green now, or that light green, was blue at one point, I believe, for Donna Reed, and so it was used for other things. So notice that you can just change the colors. You could change the trees, and it would make everything look super different and like an entirely different home. It's really crazy to see that some of those trees that are close to 100 years old are just going to be gone. I'm sure they will plant some more later, but yeah, those original trees are gone. So from what this looks like, again, you can correct me down below, but I think this is correct. This is known as the Blondie House. It was named after a long-running series of feature films, and that's why they named this the Blondie Street. It was pretty iconic. The film series ran from 1938 to 1950. So other things that were named or that were filmed here, Second Claim is Father Knows Best from 54 to 60, as well as Dennis the Menace used the set as Mr. Wilson's home between 1959 and 1963, as well as later on, this became known as the home of Major Anthony Nelson in I Dream of Jeannie from 65 to 70. Then the home was damaged in a fire that destroyed it, and then it was later remodeled. So I know, this is going to hurt a lot of people, but I believe this is the Partridge house, the house that they use on the Partridge Family. I know it's hard to tell, but you can see a lot of interesting features on here. You can see how there is like a quote-unquote fireplace on the inside, but look at how those walls on the back are propped up by lumber. Okay, that's how these were in real life. That's how flimsy these were. These were not made to be structures to stand for over 100 years. They weren't. They're made to be built, be strong enough to film in, used for a couple months, maybe a year or two, and then gone. That's it, like demolished. So they've actually withstood longer than they're supposed to. Again, not like your home in which you live in, which is made to withstand winds and thunderstorms and all these things. These were kind of like that, but I mean, they were falling apart. A lot of these things on them, even the roof tiles and stuff, were rotten in because they weren't made to last long. This is a home, unfortunately, I was not able to get too much information from it. I just can't recognize it. I actually believe like even the area in the fireplace was removed, so it's a little bit unrecognizable to me. Let me know in the comments below if you know from which production this is from. Some people say this is arguably the most recognizable home on the entire lot. It is, yes, the Bewitched house, and it was used for other things as well. A series named R. Man Higgins from 62 to 63, Bewitched from 64 to 72. And then later, remember, they could just change the numbers on the homes, repaint the brick, and just change a few things. Even that brick is probably not even real. There's a lot of effects that they used. They also used as a house that was used on I Dream of Jeannie. It's the Dr. Bellows home, believe it or not, which is really interesting. Also for a classic TV movie, Brian's Song, as well as The Night Stalker in 72. The Monkees used this home. Charlie's Angels, The Wonder Years used this home. Home Improvement used this home apparently as well. Step by Step, The Gina Davis Show, and even Bare Naked Ladies. They are a band, I believe, going back in the 90s, and in a music video called 1 Week. Now, this is crazy to see. This is the Christmas Vacation home, the Griswold house, right? With Chevy Chase and so forth, which is crazy to see. So when you ever watch Christmas Vacation, the lights are being strung up and there's all that fake snow and everything. This is it. This is the home, which is crazy. And you can see how it's being gutted. Look at the roof. It's pretty crazy to see the trees gone. So this is the home from Hazel, as well as the Bewitched house. Well, it was right next door to the Bewitched house in real life. That's where they placed it on Blondie Street. And it's also the Lethal Weapon house. It's what's most well known today. So if you are a fan of the series, and remember, you can't always go off the numbers here because they could change that in literally 30 seconds. They just put different numbers up, maybe change these blinds to red or blue, make the house yellow, and cover up maybe the garage, and it looks like a totally different home. You can see how whatever was here was pretty much leveled. You could see the footprint over here of whatever was here. These trees are felled. Over here you could see how this roof, you can totally see through this roof in the back, previous homes. And these are the other homes. You can see them in the background, homes that I've talked about previously, and they kind of wrap around. So this is another shot. You can see other things that were here, even water tankers. They use that to keep, I believe, the dust at a manageable level. And yeah, this stuff is coming down pretty quickly. It's crazy because I know a lot of people just don't want to see this gone. And I get it. I understand it. I feel that the same way. I also understand that a lot of these homes, quote unquote homes, not real homes, but they're rotting, right? Their wood is just giving out, and it's not something that they could, you could say, well, let's replace the boards and do this. Well, yeah, but it'll no longer be the home. What makes it that home if you replace all of the wood and so forth? Great photo here. This shows how the homes kind of wrap around. They're right next to each other. You can see what is next to what. Another thing that a lot of people don't know that I found out when I went on a tour myself is that, for example, this home right here is the front of a house. You imagine your brain saying, well, if you go to this side of the house, the back, it's just a backyard, right? Well, no, they actually have different fronts on this home. You actually see there's 2 chimneys, and that's on purpose. So you see how this front, they can make the other front with 3 or 4 windows on the top, different from this, the entrance on the other side. And so essentially one structure could present 2 different looking homes, which is really interesting. So here the chimney's on the left. If you go on the other side, the chimney's on the right. I hope that makes sense. And so they showed this to us on the other Warner Brothers ranch, and I thought that was mind-blowing. I never knew that before. Now, apparently this is the home on the Waltons that you can see. It's also Sheila Summers' house, I believe, from Bewitched. It's other stuff as well that I believe for Farmer's Daughter it was used. And again, so many things, and I know 100% that this was in some way used on the Stooges. So if any of you are fans of Omega Man with Charlton Heston, The End of the World, this is some place you would see this, obviously. Apparently it's on a lot of Monkey episodes, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they used it for the Three Stooges too, because it doubles as pretty much any New York street. They wanted that to look like New York, it could be, you know, the steps up. And again, they would update this stuff. If this stuff is starting to tear apart, they would just tear down banisters, put different stairs up, change the wood here. It is so easy to do because remember, these structures, you can even see through here, how you could see the other side, and it's just propped up. These are very flimsy. In fact, I can bet money that none of this is actually concrete or brick. It's mostly wood and plaster. That's how most of this stuff is made. They actually make it look like concrete. That's all of Hollywood. I would bet 100% that's what all of this is. In fact, I would tell you that's what it is. That's how sure I am of it, knowing this world. So I hope you enjoyed this, not necessarily looking at the destruction, but these are the last looks at all of these famous homes. And so if you enjoy the fact that I brought all this information to you, please give a thumbs up. Don't give a thumbs down because you don't like what they're doing. Just let me know that you don't like what they're doing if that's your opinion in the comments, right? Thumbing down a video for something that someone else is doing doesn't make sense, right? So if you support what I'm doing by looking at these classic TV shows and movies and showing you all this work, I really do appreciate it, and I thank you for doing so. We'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for the support, and most importantly, be hopeful.